Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're doing a level 2 flow. So based on your recommendations and your feedback, it's where I get a lot of great ideas. So I really appreciate, I read your comments and I get so many great ideas for upcoming videos from what you guys write. A few of you guys have been asking, like, some of your ones that say total body are kind of easy, some of them are like really hard. So it would be good to introduce levels to the videos. And I thought that's a great idea. So last week's video was more level 1, 2. Today we're kind of kicking up a notch. We're doing more challenging core work, and we're going to be doing some more difficult standing poses and linking together standing poses. I really don't feel that linking together standing poses is appropriate for beginning students, because what happens is your muscles start to fatigue and then you start to sink into your joints. So initially, in the beginning of your yoga practice, you want to do like one standing pose each side as you build the strength and flexibility. So anyways, I'll talk all day about this stuff. I don't want to go too much into detail, but thank you for that recommendation. We're going to get started today lying down onto the back. We'll take a few moments to get grounded, to come into the body, and just let go at the beginning of the practice. So lie down onto your back, however feels comfortable, Supta Baddha Konasana, or soles of the feet feet hip distance apart. So just take a few moments here to empty. It's a good idea to let go, empty before you begin. Empty emotionally, empty physically, let go, and psychically. Let yourself be fully present. Feel the sensations in your body, and feel your breath. Then bring your feet hip socket distance apart. And like in the level 1, 2 video, we're going to do a similar warm-up to integrate the back body. So as you exhale, start to flatten your lower back down into the mat. And as you inhale, reach your pubic bone away from your chest, arch the lower back. Let the chin tip towards your chest as you exhale. Flatten your lower back, tuck the pubic bone towards the chest. And as you inhale, pubic bone away from the chest. One more time, exhale to flatten your lower back. Inhale to arch. Then come into neutral with your spine. And then engage your low abs, start to squeeze the buttocks towards the backs of the knees, lift the hips up, and press your upper arms down at your side. Inhale, slowly lower your hips back down. Exhale, lift your hips up. Grip the buttocks towards the backs of the knees, squeeze the backs of the legs. Press the upper arms down, and inhale, lower slow. Exhale, lift up. Now hold, shift the weight into your right foot, bring your left leg into table. As you inhale, lower the hips so they're hovering just an inch above the floor. Exhale, lift back up. Inhale, lower slowly. Exhale, press into your foot, squeeze the back of your leg, come up. Inhale, lower slowly. Exhale, squeeze and lift up. Inhale, lower slow. Exhale, squeeze and lift up. You can do arms straight as long as you keep the feeling of the upper arms pressing down. 2 more. Last one. Hold. Set that left foot down. Bring your right leg up into tabletop position. As you inhale, lower the hips so they're just an inch above the ground. Exhale, curl back up. Inhale, lower slow. Exhale, squeeze the back of the leg. 4 more. Feel your abs engage, your core turn on. Last one. Set your foot back down, squeeze the backs of the legs, lift the hips, and lower your buttocks down. Then roll over to your side. Press up onto your hands and your knees. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Then come up onto your fingertips for a moment. We'll integrate the core. So as you reach down into your fingertips, lift up from the center of your hand, right up into your shoulder. We'll call it the arch of the hand, like your foot has an arch. Same feeling. So lift from the center of the hand up into the inner shoulder. And then as you lean into your left knee, stretch your right leg back, but just feel how much your core has to turn on so that you don't sink into your fingers. Change legs, lean into the right knee and stretch your left leg back, but keep lifting up. Feel your core turn on, your back muscles, your shoulders have to turn on. Set that knee back down. Now put the hands flat, but keep the lifted feeling from the center of your hand as you stretch your left leg back. Turn on your core again to support you, and your right leg back as well. Now lift, feel the front body resisting gravity. And as you reach down into your knuckles or your fingerprints, lift up from the arch of the hand up into the inner shoulder. Now start to squeeze your leg muscles, engage the backs of the legs, engage the glutes, engage your quads. It's a whole body pose. To make it more challenging, lean into the right foot and lift your left leg up an inch. Keep engaging your whole body. Change legs. Set that foot down, hold. Then lower your knees down to the floor. Put a block right underneath your hips. Then shift forward and lower your hips down onto the block. Lower your chest to the floor. Bring your hands back next to your side ribs. Set your shoulder blades on your back. Lift the shoulder heads. Then engage the legs like in plank. Engage the low abs. And then lift from your abs and lift up to block height. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Then lift from your core and press straight up without the shoulders sinking onto the chest. Plank pose. Downward dog. One hand at a time, walk your hands back to your feet. We're going to work on stability with the shoulders today. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Spread your arms. Rotate externally and raise the arms up. And fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. One hand at a time, walk out into plank pose. Engage your core as you walk out so you're not wiggling side to side. Then hold here in your plank, engage your abs, and then walk the hands past under the shoulders. Keep your abs engaged. Back under the shoulders. Hold. And one hand print at a time, walk back into Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, the arms down at your side. Inhale, your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Walk out one hand per time. Start with the other hand. As controlled as you can. Feel your hips and your legs engaged so you don't wiggle from side to side. Then keep your core engaged. Walk your hands past the plank position. Really important to hug your side ribs, engage your abs. Walk back into the plank position, hold, and then one hand print at a time, walk back into Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into the flat back. Walk yourself out. Good. This time with your legs firm and your core engaged, shift forward and lower to Chaturanga. Lift back up. Shift forward and lower to Chaturanga. Lift back up. Shift forward and lower to Chaturanga. Lift back up. Then lower all the way down onto your belly. Stretch your arms all the way forward. Roll the outer shoulders down towards the floor. Engage your abs. Bend the elbows out to the side and hold here in chest expansion. Feel the backs of the shoulders turn on. Reach, as you engage the legs, reach the buttocks towards the heels. Navel up towards your heart. Then stretch both arms straight back behind you. Lift the shoulder heads away from the floor. Lift the hands away from the floor without narrowing across your lower back. Then place your hands next to your side ribs. Roll the shoulder heads up away from the floor. Feel your back muscles engage. Then curl the toes under, lift your knees up, lift your thighs. Then lift your belly up and press up into plank. Stretch back into downward dog. Walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank. Shift forward and lower slowly to Chaturanga. Lift back up. Lower slowly to Chaturanga. Lift back up. Lower slowly to Chaturanga. Back up. And stretch back into downward dog. Step your right foot up to your right thumb. And lower your back knee down. Let your sit bone drop towards your right heel. Then bring your hands to your right knee and start to upright yourself. As you're dropping your sit bone down, lift through your waist. Resist and don't sink in your middle. Then take your left arm up to the ceiling. As you reach down through your left shin, raise your right arm up as well. Dig your right heel into the floor like you're pulling the mat back towards you. Grow tall through the sides of your lumbar spine. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Now curl your back toes under, lift your back leg up. And as you descend the right heel, we're going to start to engage the back muscles in the core like we had to do on the belly in chest expansion. Float the arms back and lift the shoulder heads away from the floor so you feel the backs of the shoulders turn on. Then stretch from the front of your left hip down into your big toe mound, and then come out of the pose a little as you lift yourself up and raise your arms up. Scoot from the low abdominals, from just below your belly button, up towards your heart, and then slowly start to melt the right sit bone towards the heel without losing the stretch through the front of the left hip. Reach it up through your fingertips. Breathe through your nose. So find the ease in all the effort in the pose. So Sthira Sukha Asana, finding effort but with a sense of ease. Effort to stretch the arms, to stretch the back leg. Now drop your arms to your side, lean your chest out over your knee, blades on your back. Set the left hand down without rounding your back, and twist, take your right arm up. Bring your hand down and step back into plank position. Hold in your plank or do a Chaturanga push-up. Stretch back into downward dog. And step your left foot up by your thumb. Lower your back knee down. Bring your hands to your knee and slowly start to upright yourself. Let the sit bone drop down towards the floor. Lift through the sides of your spine. Take your right arm up. Scoot from your middle, raise your left arm up as well. Bring your fingertips back down to the mat. Then curl your back toes under and start to lift your back knee. Scoop your abdominals. Turn on your back muscles as you start to float the arms back behind you. Try not to lean over to the side. So feel your strong hips. Then reach from the front of the left hip, front of the right hip into the big toe mound as you lift up. Scoop your abdominals, raise your arms. Keep the stretch through the front of the hip into the big toe mound. Lifting from the skin below the navel as you start to melt the left sit bone towards the heel. Bring your arms down at your side and lean your chest out over your knee. And twist. Without rounding your back, take your arm up. Telescope the spine forward. Reach the sit bone straight back. Make sure that the neck is participating in the work of the vertebral column. Bring your hand back down. Step back into plank. Hold in your plank, do an optional chaturanga push-up, or take a vinyasa, and then stretch back into downward facing dog. Look in between your hands. Step walk or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit your hips back like you're sitting into a little chair. Then visualize each of your sit bones sitting back into the seat of the chair. One sit bone will kind of want to twist under. As you sit both sit bones back, now scoop the skin from below your belly button. Engage your abs. Lift up into chair. Now lift up through your side ribs. Go up into your hands. Lift, reach, expand. And fold forward. One more time, hips back into that imaginary chair. Open the sit bones even into it. Heel bones descend even. Then scoop up, engage your low abs. Lift up. Lift up your side ribs now. Go up. And fold forward. Last one, sit your buttock back. Scoop up your belly, raise your arms. And stand, release your arms down at your side. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower into chaturanga. Inhale into up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Bend your knees, look forward. Step or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Stand and release your arms at your side. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot, warrior two. Turn your back heel down. As you firm your right outer hip in, open up into Vira two. So the right thigh turns all the way out, so your knee is tracking with your second, third toe. Your hips should track in that same line. Strong shoulders, hold the hands all the way up to shoulder height. And at the same time, press down with your hands and lift through your side ribs. Feel your head balance right up on top of your spine. I feel a little rude, like I'm showing my back to you and I should be looking at you, but this is how we do it when we do vinyasa. Now from here, bring the forearm to the thigh or the hand onto the outside of the foot onto the block and take your left arm over your ear. Whenever you practice yoga, you should just have your blocks and a strap handy. Just have your props nearby. Good idea to practice with props. Reach into your back heel, turn your right thigh out. Inhale, come back up into warrior two. Straighten your right leg except for a little micro bend. Tip from your hip out over your leg and place your hand down. Then bring your left hand back down to the mat. Step back into down dog or Adho Vinyasa. Step your left foot up by your left thumb. Turn your back heel down. Engage your abs, come up into warrior two. Then reach out and place your hand onto the outside of your foot. Take your arm over. Come back up into warrior two. Straighten your left leg, except a little micro bend, turn the thigh out and reach out into triangle pose. This time, press into your feet, come back up, parallel your feet, and turn your legs to the right. Bend your knee and put your hand down onto the inside of your foot. Bring your top hand to your hip. Now pry your right knee open with your arm, then scoot your back foot in a foot closer, put your hand and foot in front of your pinky toe, and lean into that leg without the thigh turning in. So feel, before you go to raise your back leg, make sure that you have this foundation leg. The thigh stays turned out, you firm the right outer hip, and then you lift from your core instead of sinking into your leg joints. Watch out for your ficus triangularis, and then take your time. Just in case you were wondering what that is, that's a ficus triangularis. Triangle ficus? I don't know what the English is on that one. Okay, push through your back heel, firm your right outer hip towards the back heel, And feel your back leg is like an extension of your tailbone, of your lumbar spine. Then adding on, see if you could bend this top leg and reach back and touch your foot. Open back up, stay steady. Come back into the modified side angle. Open up, and then come up. Press into your feet, and let's go for the other side. I warned you, it's level 2 stuff over here. We're not messing around. We're doing all kinds of variations and whatnot. Okay, but your variation, you should have the half moon like perfect before you try to add the variation. Scoot your back foot in. Put your hand and foot in front of your pinky toe. Now lean into the leg, but make sure the thigh is turned out. Firm the hip and raise your back leg. Squeeze your left outer hip towards your back heel, lengthen. Think of that back leg as an extension of your tail. Then hold there, or bend the knee, and see if you could just reach back and grab that foot. Open it back up, and as smooth as you can, slide back into the modified side angle. Open up. Good, then straighten your leg. Bring your hand down, and we'll take the escape route. Step back into down dog, or add the vinyasa. Keep working on the upper body strength if you need to. Look in between your hands. Step or float lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, bend your knees, sit back, sit bones down, lift through your belly up into your hands. Stand and release your arms at your side. Good, then shift the weight over into your right foot, step your left foot back for Parsvottanasana. Tip from your hips and bring your hands down onto your tall block in front of your big toe. So I want you to see that you can get a long spine here. There's no rounding in your back. If you need to, put your hands on a chair seat if this block is too low for you. Reach down into the 4 corners of your right foot. Breathe the spine long. Reach into your big toe mound. This is a great way to start to integrate the legs with the strong core. You can alleviate a lot of strain in your lower back if you have low back issues. Just by working the legs, lengthening the legs while elongating the spine. Then from here, adding on, lift your back heel, take the block a foot in front of your big toe, lean into that leg, and keeping your hip bones level to the floor, raise the back leg. Now here we go, the moment of truth. Can you integrate what you learned on your belly? Stretch one arm back, turn on the back muscles. Now engage your abs, pull up the low abs, lift up to hip height, both arms back. Then see if you can take one arm forward. Reach through that back heel, both arms. Bend your knee, step back into warrior one. And release. Step your back leg forward. Ooh, outer hips of steel, step the right foot back. Good, and start to tip out over your leg. That's a fun little sequence. Really important for the legs and for the core to be able to stand on your legs and keep a long spine like that. So it all starts from this pose, from Ardha Parsvottanasana. If you don't have a good Ardha Parsvottanasana, you won't have a good warrior three. Okay, so now breathe into it for a few breaths. Feel the hips stretch back, the rest of the spine telescope forward. Then take the block a foot in front of you. Lean into the front foot. And keeping the hip bones level, lift the back leg instead of sinking into your joints. Feel your core turn on. Take one arm back. Lift up to hip height, both arms back. Feel the backs of the shoulders engage. Then see if you can take one arm forward. Abs support you. Lift up in the abs like in plank. Both arms forward. And step back into warrior one. Good. Then straighten your leg. Step forward. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Step back into down dog. Step your left foot to the outside of your left wrist. Step your right foot to the outside of your right wrist. Keeping your inner arches lifted and your knees turned out. Don't let the knees twist in. Start to lower your hips towards your heels. Then scoop up the belly and grow through the front of the spine. And then let's come into Bakasana. Bring your feet together, lift your heels up, slide your arms all the way forward. Then slide your elbows back towards your shins. Hook your shins way up high in your arms. Then as you spread the hands and press down even into the hands, start to lift yourself up over your hands. Feel the shoulder blades plug onto the back, but the whole back broaden. Scoop up the pelvic floor, the low abs, and then start to lean into your hands and bring your feet together. Slide the knees higher up the arms, the heels towards the buttocks towards the heels. And then lower your feet back down. Sit into boat pose. Roll down onto your back. Open up your arms to the side. Ab torture sequence. Are you ready for this one? Okay. So from the ab video, if you didn't learn how to work the subumbilical abs in the ab video, then I really recommend that one. I'll link that one below. Don't forget to link that one below. Okay, so as you exhale, we're going to start to lift, tuck the pubic bone towards the chest and lift the tail, and then lower slow. Exhale, tuck the pubic bone towards the chest, lift the hips, and keep going. 5 more times. Then come back into neutral. Take your block in between your hands. Hold the block up and take the block back halfway. Now hug the side ribs. Squeeze your abs and grow your spine long. Slowly lower your left knee away from you. Bring it back up. And go side to side here, keeping the abs in strong. Now make it a little bit more challenging. Take the block straight up. And then as you lower your right knee, take the block back. Bring them both back up. Change sides. Now to make it more challenging, push your leg all the way forward. Back up. And keep going. Make sure your abs don't pop up. Keep your spine long. Hug those side ribs in, like I'm going to punch you in your side ribs and you're bracing. Keep that squeeze on your side ribs. Good, then take your legs into Baddha Konasana, hands behind your head. And as you exhale, curl up and over to your left knee. Inhale back down to your right. Let's go side to side here. Last round. To the left. To the right. Hug your knees in, roll up. Last part, we'll come onto the elbows. I like the elbows elevated a little, so I come up onto blocks like this. Press the forearms, elbows down. Step back into plank on your forearms. Hug the side ribs, outer armpits in and down. And then bring your right knee to your left elbow. Change sides. And keep going here side to side. Try not to let your shoulders crunch up into your back. Keep them hugged onto your back. Up into your neck. Keep them hugged onto your back. Then set your knees down. Stretch back into child's. All right, guys, from child's pose, come back up onto your hands and your knees and stretch back into downward dog. Then we're gonna do a little twist sequence from here. So step your right foot up to your right thumb. It will start off a little easy at first. Lower your back knee down, right hand to your knee, lift from your belly, scoop up, raise your left arm. Then hook your elbow to your knee and twist. Now look down at the floor, see that your hip is tracking back with your ankle and your head is right alongside your big toe. Then curl your back toe under and lift your back knee up. Stay long to that line. Feel your right hip engage, scoop the navel up. Then bring your right hand to your hip and put your left hand a foot in front of your foot on the block or on the floor. Lean into your right foot, but keep that right hip on a track with the right heel, and then raise the back leg straight up. Spin your rib cage, take your right arm up. Then look down, bring your left knee to the outside of your right ankle and sit back onto the inside of your heel. Wrap your forearm around Ardha Matsyendrasana. Sit up tall and twist. Then I think we should try this. Heck, why not? Let's give it a shot. We'll come into the arm balance variation from here. So from here, you're gonna hook your knee way up high by your armpit. Then you're gonna push off the floor with this bottom foot and come up onto your hands, like chaturanga hands. Then lean into your chaturanga arms. I haven't done this one in a couple of years. Let's see how it goes. Still got it. And then step back down. All right. Bring your hands back to the front of your mat and step back into down dog. Step your left foot up to your left thumb. Lower your back knee. Then scoop up from your belly, raise your arm up. And hook your elbow. Join your palms together. So you know I'm not like a trick teacher. Like lots of yoga teachers are like, hey, let me show you this trick to get into. I don't believe in the tricks. I think the tricks just like help you to cheat into poses. Really like from a full, if you have a strong, healthy body because you're doing all the yoga poses, then you'll just be able to go into the advanced poses. That's the way the advanced poses work. So just for example, like that one, I don't think I've done that one in 4 years, but just by having a well-rounded practice, you'll be able to go into those. When you're at a party and you have to show what yoga tricks you can do. Lift your back thigh up Feel your hips scoop in and elongate. Then bring your hand to your hip. Slide your hand a foot in front of your foot. Keep your hip on that track with your ankle. Lean into the foot and then raise your back leg. Then, keeping that hip strong and firmed in, start to spin your navel, spin your chest, and take your arm up. Then slowly with control, bring your knee to the outside of your ankle and sit back for Ardha Matsyendrasana. Wrap your forearm around your thigh. Bring your spine in and up, starting from your sacrum, and then start to twist. Then from here, let's give it a shot into Ekapada Kunyanyasana. You'll take the knee way up high by the armpit. Put your hands down, press down with your bottom foot, and then propel yourself. I hope I don't hit my head on this mirror. Hold on, let me scoot up myself a little bit. Glass, whatever it's called. Then lean into your arms, and then see if you can stretch the legs out. Set your feet back down, and stretch back into downward facing dog. Then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose. Sit the hips back. Now wrap your left leg up and over your right. Cross your left elbow under or take prayer hands. Then lean your chest out over your knee, uncross your leg, and reach back into Warrior Three. Step back for the top of Parsvottanasana, but raise the left arm up for Twisted Triangle. Then reach, put the hand down onto the outside of the foot, blocker floor, spin and take your right arm up. Bring your hand down, step your back leg forward, and fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And release your arms at your side. Sit into chair pose, bend the knees, sit back. Then wrap your left leg up and over your right. Cross your right elbow under, or just bring the hands into prayer position, elbows towards each other. Lean the chest out over the knee. Uncross your leg and reach back into Warrior Three. Step back into the top of Twisted Triangle, raise the arm. Reach, twist, and place your hand down onto the outside of your foot, blocker floor. Spin and take your arm up. Bring your hand back down and step your back leg forward, fold forward. Inhale into chair, bend your knees and sit back. Stand and release your arms at your side. And then step your right foot back about 3.5, maybe 4 feet. Where's the strap? Get your strap, or if you don't have a strap, you could use a belt, or I found that a pair of shorts. Mostly a pair of board shorts where you can tie the drawstring. That works when I'm on vacation. I don't have a strap, then I use that. But otherwise the strap works. Press out into the strap, roll the shoulder heads, and start to open up your chest. So just notice when you go to open your chest, the tendency is to push forward. Instead, soften the bottom sternum right here, in and down, as you roll your shoulder heads back. And then grow the neck tall. Then start to tip from your hips without the shoulders sinking onto the chest. Then set your fingertips down, lose the strap or board shorts, and inhale, make a flat back. Exhale, walk the fingertips back and let your head drop. Inhale, flat back. Hook your big toes and bend your elbows out to the side. Okay, time for you guys to learn the tripod headstand variation. So, walk your hands back, and if your head starts to come close to the floor, like if you have a really deep forward fold, this one's for you. But a couple things have to happen. The index finger knuckle has to press down, the elbows have to turn in, and then the shoulder blades have to lift away from the ears. Once I have all that, if I'm relatively close, like I got long legs, so it's hard to get the head all the way down. I can kind of cheat the feet a little wider and then lower the head down. Then from there, you'll lean into your head, scoop your legs up, and take them up into the air. Keep the lift of the blades, the press of the index finger knuckle. To come back down, the legs go wide apart. Scoop the abs up to control the legs. Lower your feet back down. Inhale into a flat back. Now, if it feels like it's a lot of pressure in your neck, that's usually a sign that it's a lot of pressure in your neck. And you should kind of be careful with that, especially if you have some neck issues. But it can be strengthening for the neck as long as you have the lifted shoulder blade action. And you can feel that the neck is extended and not too much weight is in your head. And in that pose, it shouldn't be held for longer than like 5 breaths or something because of the extreme pressure in the neck. Okay, turn your leg out and step forward. Now let's work on Shirshasana. But first we'll do a little side plankage just to get the scapula all turned on, external rotators turned on. So start with the left hand down underneath your shoulder, right hand on your hip, and as you roll the inner shoulder towards the outer shoulder, which is Stacy's favorite instruction, you stretch the left leg back behind. She's like, it doesn't make any sense. Externally rotate your shoulder. Is that one better? Externally rotate and reach up and then press through your feet. She took my class for like a year and she's like, I never knew what you were saying when you turn the inner shoulder to the outer shoulder. That means like externally rotate. Okay, so she knows now. And then slowly come back onto your hands. Change sides and knee down so that you can get the inner shoulder to turn to the outer shoulder. Find that action of external rotation. Really important. We don't want to be strengthening internal rotation in the shoulder. And then step the leg back, still maintaining the external rotation. And then take your arm up. So this is really important that we cue the muscle to work like this before we go and load the shoulders for headstand. And then slowly come down. Set your knees down. Take a block. For this exercise, this is another training wheels for headstand to rotate the shoulders. We're going to take the fingers around the block like so. Can you see this one? Where I wrap the fingers around, I take the knuckles like that and the thumbs point up. And then I'm going to place the back of the head against the block. Crown of the head on the floor. I press the elbows down, forearms down, and then I lift up, but I keep pressing down and lifting my shoulders away from my ears. Come up onto your tiptoes if possible and lift the hips up. Press those forearms down, lift the inner shoulder blades, and reach from the outer armpits into the elbows. Then set the knees down. So if that's easy, if you're like, I have my head down, I'm lifted, and I'm so high up on my tiptoes, it's like I could float up, that's a sign that you're ready to try a headstand. If you're like all tucked under and shaking in that position, that's a sign that you need to do more standing poses and work on Dandasana and you work on strengthening your core so that you can go into a headstand without causing trauma for your body. If it's going well, you can bring yourself close to a wall so that if you tip over, you just lean into the wall. But we're going to work on the knees into the chest method to come up. So head, crown of the head down, back of the head into the hands. Walk in. One knee in, then the other. Pull it up. And then legs straight up. Now grip the buttocks up into the heels as you press the forearms down, lift the inner shoulder blades. Bring the heels back to the buttock and slowly with control bring the knees into the chest. Set the feet down and rest yourself in child's. Then grab yourself whatever type of back extender you have, foam roller, or you can do the fish pose over the block. If you don't have a foam roller, you can back bend over this block in your shoulder blades or use a bolster or a couple pillows, whatever you have. You could lay down over your couch like this instead, but put whatever you have in your upper back for supported fish pose. And with it right at the bra line, as you inhale, start to roll your chest over the roller or whatever you're on. And as you exhale, roll back up. Inhale, roll your chest over. Really important, if we keep this part of our spine healthy, this helps with the health of our shoulders, neck, opening in the chest. Come back up. And then one with the hands behind the head like this, like you're like chilling at the beach pose. Let the tension in the chest start to open through the spread of the elbows. And then slowly start to lower the head towards the floor and stretch your arms back like they're doing a handstand. Bring your hands behind your head, come back up. Oh, I love that one so much. Oh, it's so good. One of the best ones is to do it over a Swiss ball or like a training ball, a medicine ball, which I got one of those, and I think we're gonna start integrating some of that into some of the videos. So if you don't have one yet, order yourself one this week or drive to your local Target or whatever fine items are sold near your house, and we'll get right into that. Okay, so now have a seat in Virasana. Have a seat on a block if you need it, or you can sit flat in between your heels. Then roll your shoulders back, expand the chest. Right where that roller was in your upper back, arch from there, and then lift your hips up. This obviously is my favorite back bend. It's like all we do for the last 3 months on Yoga with Tim. Then release that, and we'll come onto the belly to practice a similar pose, similar shape, but now in Dhanurasana. So start off with the thigh bones in neutral, and then start to grip the buttocks towards the knees, and then as you feel energy come up the pelvic floor, up towards the chest, start to reach the heart forward. Then keep the right foot, stretch the left leg back and the left arm forward. Grip that buttock down out of your back. Change legs, take the left foot, stretch the right leg out, grip the buttock out of your lower back, stretch that foot back, both arms forward, grip the buttocks out of the back, and then stretch past your hands, lift the hands up an inch. Lift the legs up an inch. Ooh, here we go. Hollow out your belly and lower yourself down. Now that's a really important back bend, that Shalabhasana variation. It's a hard one, so if it doesn't go well, if you're like all on your upper traps, you can just press the hands down. Come up onto your hands and your knees. And from here, bring your right knee forward and start to stretch your left leg back behind you. This is like a modified version of pigeon to start to open up the iliopsoas. Change sides. Then bring both knees forward and have a seat on your block. So bring your right heel in towards you for Marichyasana. Right heel in, left foot down. Now hug that knee in, sit up tall. You might want to have a block behind you for this one. As you hug your knee in and sit tall, then wrap your left elbow around like a coat hanger, hook it in there, and put your right hand on the block behind you. Now look forward at your left big toe. Make sure your left leg didn't go into Shavasana. Instead, keep it active and get tall right up over your sit bones. Decompress the spine, and then spin your navel, ribs, chest, head. Release that. Change sides. Bring your left knee in. Coat hanger the right arm, wrap it around. Put your left hand behind you. Look forward at your right foot. Keep it like a Tadasana leg. Grow tall up over your sit bones. Wake up the spine. And then start to spin navel, ribs, chest. Come back to center. Then take Baddha Konasana legs. No, wait, let's do Upavista first. Sit with Upavista legs. and sit up tall. Have your strap handy. You might want it. You will not need your singing bowl for this part. You can move that one out of the way. Sit up tall, then turn to face your left leg. Okay, so first things first, we want to be upright. The sit bones, you want them aiming straight down. This part of your lower back totally up straight. So if you need to be sitting up on a block or a bolster, that's totally fine. Once you have the upright seat, then you can start to lean into the forward bend and either hook the foot with your hand, or you could lasso it with your strap. But keep stretching the other leg down and away. This is so good for your hips to spend time in this position. In fact, in these old sequences that I used to do in the book Light on Life, he'd have you like sit in each one of these hip openers, the seated hip openers, for like 2 to 3 minutes at the end. And after, you're like, oh man, your hips just feel amazing. If you can dedicate more time to your hip openers at the end, whew, that's one of the reasons why these videos are so important, because there's just no time to fit that into a 30 or 40 minute sequence on the YouTube channel. Come back up and change sides. So first, just sit up tall to face your leg. Smooth the opposite thigh down and away. And then start to lean towards your leg. Now, if it's a deep stretch, just to lean there, don't worry about hooking your foot. But if you need to lasso the foot or catch the foot, and then start to grow the spine, take the back of the spine in and up, and smooth the opposite leg away. Breathe into it. Good job. Release that one. Then take Baddha Konasana legs. And because my Baddha Konasana is a little sketchy, I'm going to sit on the block. All right, here we go. Turn the feet open and sit tall. Hips. Then twist to your right, Baddha Konasana twist. Bring your left hand towards the outside of the knee, right hand behind you. Come back to center and change sides. So really nice practice. It should have an arc to it. So there's like a building, a warm up. There's a part where like you're really kicking your own ass and you're sweating. It's challenging, and then there's a cool down. So at the end, it feels like very calming and soothing for the body. We don't want it to be all kick your own butt. And there's days where it just needs to be restorative. That's fine too. But ideally, we want the practice at the end to leave you feeling restored, even when you have to work hard. Come back to center. Then bring the legs into Virasana. So that's this yin stuff that we do at the end. Super important. Then take the strap, shoulder distance apart. Press out into the strap with your arms. And then raise the arms halfway. Rotate externally. And then raise the arms up all the way. Rotate externally. Lift through your outer side ribs, armpits. Let the inner blades drop down. Bring the arms back down. Take the strap over your left shoulder, like a continental soldier. And slide your right hand behind your back. Hook the hand into the strap loop. Take your left arm up, rotate externally, bend the elbow, and then slide the hand into the top of the loop. Okay, so now take your left elbow in towards the midline, and then squeeze the armpit, outer armpit, and then lift the elbow. Relax. Do all that again. Turn the elbow in, squeeze the outer armpit, lift the elbow higher. Roll the right shoulder open. And release that. Let's do it over the other side. Take your left arm, internally rotate it and slide it behind your back. Right arm goes up, rotate externally. Bend the elbow, slide. Okay, get your hand in position. So just notice that the elbow wants to wing out. So now start to turn the elbow in, squeeze the outer armpit, lift the elbow higher. Let it all go. Turn elbow in, squeeze outer armpit, lift elbow up, and hold. Open the left collarbone. Open the upper two ribs. And release all that. Then cross your legs in front of you. For simple cross-leg hip opener. Now, if that's not challenging enough, you don't feel much stretch in your hips, then cross your ankle to the outside of your knee. Oh. And then start. Ooh, that face that you gotta make when you gotta do some hip openers. Oh man, I'll tell you. That long, Ollie and I went on a super long hike. It was feeling it today. Oh, Ollie. And come back up. Change the cross of the legs. I feel like the 10 minutes, can somebody squirt some omegas in these hip sockets? I gotta get these things lubricated. Oh. Come back up. Then lie down onto your back. Let's do a little forward fold. Stretch out over your legs. Then lie down onto your back and we'll prepare for plow with a little happy baby. So bend your knees, put your feet down. Then bring your right leg into happy baby position, take the big toe, and then instead of just jamming your knee towards the floor, you want to try to keep your pelvis in neutral and then bring the foot up in line with the knee and then let the thigh bone deepen into the socket. So like I can just jam, I see like so much on Instagram, like people just jamming themselves into shapes. And then like people applauding it with lots of likes and like, oh my God, that's amazing that you can jam yourself. Like anybody could just jam themselves into a shape. That's not yoga. In yoga, we want to practice having intention in our movements. So having the intention to align ourselves and then move through that. So the intention is to keep the pelvis in neutral and then mobilize the thigh bone in the socket. And then release that. Don't get me wrong, there's good stuff on Instagram. Like I follow the dogs doing stuff, and it's amazing. There's amazing dog stuff on there. Take the big toe up to the ceiling, and then feel the pelvis in neutral, then let the thigh start to drop into the socket, and then see if you can start to slide that leg out along the floor. Okay, so either from here, do both legs in a happy baby, or if you had the forward fold that's coming well, then take both legs straight up. If you can straighten both legs with your tailbone down on the floor, that's a sign that you could probably go into plow safely. But if you're in this position, your legs look more like this, or your butt is like this to try to get your legs straight, then just work on the upside down Dandasana. If that's going well, then you'll engage your abs, bring your hips up, and then take the legs up and over. To come out, slowly roll yourself out. Hug the knees. And then for our final spinal twist, because I always love to do this at the end, it feels so good. Take your arms out to the side. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and let your legs fall over to the left. Legs over to the right, change the cross. Come back to center and stretch your legs out. So we're going to practice now a Viloma Pranayama. Viloma is a three-parted segmented breath, and this is going to help to teach you to stay calm when at different segments in the breath, while the breath is being held in different parts in the lungs. It's going to help to exercise and make the lungs and the diaphragm more elastic in places where they're stuck and weak. And it's also going to make you feel more comfortable having a lack of control. So like powerlessness and lack of control, that's our dilemma. And always like we're trying to control things in life to feel more secure. And ultimately through our yoga practice, we want to start to give up that control and still feel okay. So the way that we do that when we practice pranayama is at the end of the exhalation to pause and to not lose our shit, to stay calm, to stay cool, to stay collected, to keep the nerves calm. And it's great training for when things get out of hand in life, and when things are beyond our control, how do we deal with it? So we learn this in our pranayama practice. Let your body drop. Take a slow, steady breath in. Pause at the top. Let a third of the air out. Let another third out. Let all the air out. And then see if you can pause for 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Pause at the top. Let out a third. Let out another third. Let it all out. And pause for 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Pause at the top. Let a third out. Let another third out. Let all the air out. And pause for 1, 2, 3. Without gasping, slowly fill the lungs as you breathe in. Do it one more round on your own. Then at the end of your exhalation, engage your bandhas, squeeze and draw the pelvic floor in and up, engage the low abdomen, engage the upper abdomen, but let your breath come and go. Let it all go. At the end of your next exhalation, engage the pelvic floor, engage the low abdomen, upper abdomen, breathe. And let it all go. So the practice of bandha helps to take the energy of the lower energies of the spine, of the chakras, and convert the more base energies up into the brain. So these are the more primal, instinctual drives, and it takes those base energies into a more spiritual pursuit. Primarily taking the energy from the root chakra and transmuting it so now just feel all of your energy centers soften, open, the pelvis soften, the abdominals soften, ribs soften. Let the shoulders relax. Empty your jaw, your tongue. Gently bend your knees. Roll to your side. And press up to seated. Bring your palms together. Should we practice chanting Om? Let's practice chanting Om one time. So it's a 3-part sound, O, Ah, And I'll do it one time on my own, and then we'll try one together. So sit up tall with your eyes closed. Together. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me today. Been reading your comments lately. Thanks for the suggestions about trying to create like a little bit longer video once in a while, focusing on more challenging poses. Hopefully you felt today you got some poses that were a little more interesting, especially if you've been practicing with me for a while. We got that arm balance in, that's a tricky one. We got the headstand transition. If you'd like to see other things, please let me know, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.